So, Equestria Girls. I, uh, loved it! So in the beginning, just like in the first and second trailer, we see that Twilight and her friends are in the Crystal Empire. And that's good. They're ponies. Yay! So it makes sense. They start off as ponies. So let's see where this takes us. So we go in, and there's Cadence, Celestia, and Luna. And they're saying that their long trip must have been forever and they must be tired. So Celestia basically just sent them off to bed. And that was pretty much all for the beginning. So also somewhere in the beginning there was an intro theme. And I can't really remember if it was before Celestia sent them to bed or after. I'm thinking it was before, but I was so tranced by the rest of it I can't remember. But I know it was in the beginning. And oh my gosh, it was awesome. It was like the My Little Pony theme song that you have in the beginning of every episode, except it was like a remix, and it was just so awesome. The visual was awesome. There were silhouettes of each of the ponies, and the song was awesome, and I wasn't expecting all that. And that was one thing that made the movie even better. Yeah, I just loved it So the way they handled the humanization transformation was pretty well. Their plot made sense, and it didn't just throw Twilight into a human world for no good reason. So as the second trailer implies, a pony named Sunset Shimmer steals Twilight's crown and also her element of harmony. And it gets knocked into a mirror, which Sunset Shimmer then goes into. And Celestia sends Twilight through there to find her crown and retrieve it. Because apparently Sunset Shimmer is one of Celestia's former students, but hatred and cruelty sort of corrupted her. And she now lives in this alternate universe. And the other main six want to follow Twilight too, but Celestia won't allow them because it might screw up with the universes. So when Twilight goes in, Spike runs and follows her, but the rest stay behind. So we all know what happens next. Twilight and Spike are sent to this human world, which it doesn't really seem like Earth because all of them still have their pony names, so it's just an alternate universe with humanoids. But she is very dumbfounded on what in the world has happened to her, what is wrong with her body, where's her magic, where's her horn, where's her wings, and Spike is just like a dog. But he can talk, and that's great, and I'm actually kind of glad that they made him a dog, because it kind of fit in really well. So Twilight goes into the high school, and she's just surrounded by all these teenagers, and she doesn't know what in the world's going on, so she's trying to struggle to get out. And then that Flash Century guy, whatever, she bumped into him, and I don't know. I didn't like him. He was the only problem I had with the whole movie. But other than that, the movie was pretty great. The plot line made sense as Twilight tried to retrieve her crown by winning the fall formal, because in the beginning, when Sunset Shimmer flew through the portal with the crown came out first, and Fluttershy was on the outside of the portal as a human, trying to pass out flyers for an animal shelter, and the crown hit her in the head. And so she returned it to Principal Celestia. And that's now the new crown for the fall formal. And we see that Sunset Shimmer apparently wins this fall formal every year. But Twilight needs to win it so she can get her crown. She meets all her new friends, well, her old friends, but to them she's a new person. She meets Fluttershy first, and then Pinkie Pie, and then so on and so forth, but none of them are friends, and Twilight wants to know why. So we see that Sunset Shimmer is the one that kept these friends apart by sending them fake emails and fake text messages that make each other hate each other. So that's why they were all not friends. But Twilight Sparkle figured this out, and then they all were able to see the light again, and so friendship is magic, and they were brought back together. So they try to help Twilight win the fall formal crown so she can return to Equestria. So another thing about this movie that made it so much more enjoyable was the music they had. There was so many songs that I could talk about. The first one, of course, was the intro, but then there was one when she first went into the high school that she was singing this song, or there was a song playing in the background with Twilight singing about she doesn't know what's going on and all that. And that one didn't really catch my attention as much as the one that all of them sung in the cafeteria called Help Twilight Win the Crown. That song was so catchy, and the choreography was great. I loved the whole entire thing. It was just amazing. I loved to hear them all get their little parts in the song, and it was just so meaningful, and it pushed right on through. And I just love that about a movie, especially My Little Pony, because music is a big thing in My Little Pony. And they did really well with the music. So the human characters, of course, other than Twilight, didn't know anything about the Equestria. And Twilight eventually ended up telling them, or Pinkie Pie sort of course she knows what's going on all the time because she has a hunch, but yes, they all figure out that Twilight is actually a pony princess in alternate universe Equestria. And Twilight was afraid that they would sort of shun her because she really was different from them all. But, of course, as friends, they actually thought it was pretty cool. And so, once Fall Formal came around, and Sunset Shimmer had her many various attempts to make Twilight look like no one wanted to vote for her, but Twilight did end up winning Fall Formal, and she got her crown. But, of course, there had to be a little plot twist at the end. So, Snips and Snails had been a big part of the movie the whole time. They were sort of like henchmen to Sunset Shimmer, which was pretty comical to see, because I really hate the two characters, and I love to see them do things that make me hate them even more. So, they stole Spike and made Twilight go after them, and then Sunset Shimmer was standing outside of the portal with a sledgehammer, and she was threatening to smash it into pieces if Twilight wouldn't give her the crown, and then that means Twilight would never be able to go back to Equestria. But Twilight stood up and said she wasn't going to give her the crown, because if she did, the universe, the human universe she was in, would never be able to protect themselves from the magic that it holds, but Equestria could do fine without her. And that was a bit kind of odd, because, I mean, there's so many things in Equestria that happens all the time, like changelings and Nightmare Moon and Discord that Twilight had to fix. But still, she was standing up for the human race because, of course, they don't have any magic whatsoever, so they would not be able to defend themselves against Sunset Shimmer if she got the magic of the crown. So, you would think that Sunset Shimmer was going to smash that portal, but actually she dropped the sledgehammer and told Twilight she won. And I was like, what in the world are you doing? You have your opportunity, smash the portal, get the crown, destroy the world. But she actually sissy fought for the crown. She jumped on Twilight and tried to get the crown from her, but they all passed it around. But eventually, yes, she got her hands on it. And I was like, oh no. So when Sunset Shimmer put on the crown, this was something I wasn't expecting out of a little girl movie with a target demographic of being 6-year-old little girls. It was pretty demonic. She turned into a demon, and it wasn't just a cartoony demon. Well, it was, but it was kind of freakish. She was really hideous and creepy. I mean, she had the whole creepy fire flames and the huge wings and the demonic red and black eyes. I mean, she was pretty terrible looking. But the reason she didn't smash the portal to Equestria was because she wanted to go in as that demon and take over Equestria with the help of all the high schoolers that she had now put a zombie-ish spell on them. But, you know, the evil stuff doesn't really last long in My Little Pony, and that rung true in this movie as well, because Twilight and her friends, which I wasn't expecting this either, transformed into what the promotional art looked like. They got their ears and their wings and their long, long hair that looked like they had tails, which was kind of cool. It was like a transformation, and they destroyed Sunset Shimmer's demon. But, of course, they couldn't kill her because that would be bad for a little girl's movie. So she's in a hole now. She's back to her human form, and she's crying, and she's saying she doesn't know the first thing about friendship, so how in the world is she going to fix things? And, of course, Twilight says that she'll figure it out, and her friends will help her figure out all that she needs is friendship. And, of course, that's great because the story and the theme is friendship is magic. So they have their dance and for a little while, but then Twilight returns to Equestria and she's tired and all that good stuff, and the movie pretty much ends. So was my expectations fulfilled with this movie? My answer to that would be my expectations were fulfilled and then some. This movie had a lot of things that I wasn't expecting, but they were good things that I wasn't expecting. So my expectations were fulfilled times 2. And if my summary of the movie didn't sound that interesting, then the movie's better than I can explain, because believe me, if you saw this movie, you would know. I don't know why anyone would want to hate on this movie before watching it, because I had a feeling this movie was going to be better than everybody was making it out to be. And believe me, it was even better than that. This movie was amazing. They handled it so well, and the plot made sense. And I actually like Sunset Shimmer as being the protagonist in this film. That was good. That was kind of interesting that she was a former student of Celestia. And the whole thing was good. I liked how each of the characters still had their names and personalities, but they didn't know anything about Equestria, of course. And best horse rarity was best human throughout the whole movie, in my opinion, of course. But this movie was better than I can even say, and that tells you a lot. This movie was great. So if you have the opportunity to see this movie, then you need to hurry up and go take that opportunity, because this is just a great movie. So Equestria Girls, it was great. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if I maybe encouraged you to go see the film, I'm very happy, because you need to go see it. So I'm going to see you later in my next My Little Discussion.